Hi there, it's Brian Hoggard here from St Swithun's in Worcester, working for the Church's Conservation Trust. In this short video I'll be talking about the archaeological discoveries which have been made at St Swithun's during our recent work there. At St Swithun's there is currently a major Heritage Lottery funded project for the Church's Conservation Trust underway. The plan is to complete a restoration programme and then open the church as a heritage attraction and a venue, which will be known as Sound and Art at St Swithun's. The work is a top-to-toe effort across the whole building. It includes a new underfloor heating system. We're also fixing the roof, the walls and the tower. And in December 2019 the contractors on the project, who are called Splitlath, began lifting the ledger stones on the floor in preparation for excavating down to the required depth, ready to install the new heating system. In this picture here we can see the ledger stones are stacked safely beneath the tower while work on the floor is continuing, and in order to put all the ledger stones back in the correct order, wherever they were taken from, the number of the box pew next door to them was written on these red timbers, and they were all stored with these red timbers with the number of the box pew adjacent to where they came from on, so they can easily be put back. In fact, they have been easily put back into the correct order. So as the team began to dig beneath where the ledger stones were, deep voids began to appear. At this point it wasn't entirely clear what they were. St Swithun's church does date back to at least the 12th century, possibly earlier, but the nave was substantially rebuilt in the 1730s and the tower was remodelled as well. So we didn't really know whether there could be a crypt down there or what shape any of the 18th century and later tombs were in. In this picture we can see the contractors hard at work excavating the central passage beneath, in between the box pews. As St Swithun's is a relatively small church and in a city centre, it wasn't possible to use a machine to excavate the floor, so it was all done by hand and had to be wheelbarrowed out into our solitary skip, which had to be emptied at particular hours of the day each morning, due to the pedestrianised nature of the area around the church. So as the earth was taken away, a series of brick-lined box tombs began to appear, and then subsequently down the central passageway we began to see some of these brick barrel vaulted tombs as well. The brick barrel vaulted tombs, they had small openings which it was possible to peer into, sadly not big enough to push a camera and a light into to get proper footage of what was inside, but with the naked eye you could see in one of them in particular a highly ornate tomb with quite a seriously magnificent ornate cross laid on top of it. So one of those tombs in particular is clearly highly prestigious, and the other one also had quite a highly decorated tomb, a coffin inside it as well. Not long after the discovery of these tombs, contractors got in touch to let us know they made the discovery of another tomb. This one was a bit different to the others in that it was brick lined and it was coffin shaped, which is the only one like it so far discovered in that church. In order to lay the underfloor heating system, as I already said, they had to excavate down to a particular depth, and this coffin shaped tomb was standing a bit proud of that depth, so they had to reduce the upper layers by sort of 2 or 3 brick courses in order to get it down to the right level. So the slabs needed to be removed, the slabs that covered the coffin shaped tomb needed to be removed, and in doing so we were able to get a glimpse of the coffin within. And the coffin inside this tomb was incredibly ornate, covered in leather that was very delicately manipulated into a very fancy design, and there was a plate on top of the coffin in really lovely elegant secretary hand engraving which explained that this was the tomb of somebody called Anne Freem, that she had died in 1850 and she was 82 years old, which is a really mighty age at that time. She was a member of the Guild of Upholsterers, and her family owned a house and a shop in St Swithun's Street just around the corner, and some of our heritage detectives are currently doing a little bit more research into that at the moment. Now, St Swithun's doesn't have its own churchyard, so only the wealthiest and most influential would have been buried under the floor, as Anne was, and in a kind of ironic twist, 1850 was the year in which people reported there was an intolerable smell in the church, which was actually preventing people from worshipping there. And this smell was caused by those interred beneath the floor. So Anne, although she's had a very wealthy and prestigious life and was buried in a very prestigious way, unfortunately she contributed in a way to this terrible smell that was going on in the church. So when the floor of St Swithun's was at its maximum in terms of exposure of the archaeology beneath, local archaeologist Tim Corner, he captured lots of images of the tombs and created this 3D model, which you can see on the screen now, using a technique called photogrammetry. If you want to explore this model later on, I've put a link on the screen as well, which you can use to go and have a look at that. And here we can see at the end we've got the ledger stones being relayed after the underfloor heating system and everything has gone in. So rest assured, all the tombs were left in situ. We didn't disturb any of the burials or remove any coffins, and they're all now safe and sound beneath a nicely relayed floor. So I hope you've enjoyed this quick exploration of the excavations and burials at St Swithun's. Please do come and visit us when we reopen. We look forward to seeing you. Thanks.